kind of a arbitrary one. This is the most difficult aspect, and really the most potentially informative part of your swing. You can learn a lot about yourself when it comes to this relaxation part. Ideally, throughout the swing, you need to be relaxed so that you can generate the most speed. I think pretty much everybody realizes that and acknowledges that. But let's talk about how to recognize when those points are that you're actually becoming stiffened up or you're becoming tense. Because each one of them is going to do different things to your golf swing and to the club face. Now, my friend Gary Blaisdell, who's from Blaisdell Performance Systems, he says all the time, think of your elbows as relaxed. Relax your elbows. I like to think of my arms as limp noodles or like the chains of a swing set. They're just relaxed. They're not doing anything in particular. They're just kind of going along for the ride. Now, they're not necessarily exactly going along for the ride. They do add a little bit to the swing, but they add on plane. If you're adding force on plane, it's not going to have tension. Now, there is going to be some effort being expelled when you swing on plane, but if you're fighting the club, you're going to feel tension. I'd say the first one is the takeaway. Almost everybody takes the club away, either rolled under or trying to pick it up. Alright? Now right away, both of those two moves, what I call leverage actions, which if you ever watch my takeaway video, it tells you about leverage action. You don't want to leverage the club, you want to swing the club away. Okay? Notice how everything is moving together, and as long as everything is moving together, there's no tension. Nothing is struggling against each other, because that's basically what tension is. It's where one force is acting against a different force. You're moving your hands this way, but the club is moving the other way. Well, that's basically how we can tell when tension happens. Number two is when people tend to lift the club up. They get back here and then they lift the club up. That's another tension spot that I see all the time, especially when people are trying to reroute the club to put it in a different position to drop it into the slot or whatnot. You do see that with the lift up here sometimes, okay? But generally you don't find it with the body. You generally find it with the arms trying to tense up and maneuver the club. You'll see, especially when just before they reach the top, they don't let their arms quite relax to let the club come back here like this. They kind of hanging out here like this. This is all tension right here, right? But if you're relaxed, the club is going to be nice and bent like this so that when you make the transition, you're not forcing that push back out of the club. The third, of course, is from the top to go down, trying to jerk down to the ball and trying to hit with a lot of effort to try to pull and pull, or they try to throw the club back out, with their early casting, or they're trying to drop it into the slot, so they try to get it back in here. All of that tension is just going the wrong way. Your hands and your arms are fighting where the club wants to go. Now the fourth spot that I see tension creep in all the time, and this is probably the biggest one that I see, is right at the ball. When they get to the ball, they tense up in some way. Or maybe just slightly before, but generally through the impact area. They're tensing up, okay? Either they're trying to throw the club at the ball, or they're trying to pull through more with the ball, and they're trying to hold that club face open, or you'll see them trying to hit down on the ball. You see a lot of tension with people in their arms just as they get to the ball. Now, if you stay relaxed, then what comes naturally is the release, and we've talked about that. If you watch my release video, you'll know that if you just simply tilt correctly and you stay relaxed through that, you're going to just naturally let that right forearm basically kind of roll down towards the target. But if you tense up right at the ball, you won't have a natural release. Right here at this point, you'll see some people try to actually roll hard over the ball. A lot of these guys that do that hit the ball a mile because there's a lot of action trying to take the club from basically here to here. that's a lot of movement, but it's also a leverage action like we were talking about before. And if it's not timed perfectly and done exactly the right way, the ball can go errant any variety of different ways. The backbreaker. That's the backbreaker point. That's the finish, right? Where we get to here at number 6. Usually the tension kind of creeps in the lower back here, right? This leads more into balance issues. If you have poor balance, you're gonna kind of hang back here like this, right? And that's gonna put some pressure on your back, and you're gonna have problems. But it's also a lot of tension in here to try to hold that up, right? There's tension in my right leg trying to keep me balanced and push me up, or I'm gonna feel tension out here on my left ankle trying to hold me up, right? Or out here on my toe, I'm going to feel tension over here trying to push me back. Again, it's trying to oppose the force that I've applied to it. I recommend a rating scale. Again, 1 to 10. Not only identify when does it happen, but how much does it happen. It's a 1 to 10 scale. And I don't think you should really grade it 1 to 10 until you're at the finish. Okay, don't try to grade it while you're making the swing. Wait until you're done with the swing. I'm going to take a swing here. I'm going to try to stay relaxed, okay? And then I'm just going to simply rate on a scale of 1 to 10. How well did I stay relaxed during that swing? Now, you may not have been able to see on camera. Heck, I don't know if any instructor out there could even take a look at that and say, oh, you did this. You may be able to see some slight imperfection of my swing, but what I felt was my right arm was a little bit more active in that one. As a result, the club face hung open a little bit, didn't quite get rotated around because it was tension-filled from right here to here. Right here, I could feel the tension creep in my right arm. And that right arm tension just kind of held the club face open just a little bit, which made me catch it on the toe. So on a rating scale of 1 to 10, I'm only going to give myself about a 6 on that. Now I'm going to take another swing. I'm not going to try to do anything. I'm just going to, again, when and where does it happen? Let my subconscious mind work this stuff out. All I'm simply doing is observing and then rating it, right? 1 to 10. So here we go again, another swing. Just observe and then rate it. And the more I work on it, the more I try to identify these things, the more I'm going to know my swing, right? Which is the most important part of this whole thing. You know, I can't stand there and watch you swing all day. No instructor can just stand there and watch you play round after round after round and continually critique you. You have to know your own swing. And this is really the only way you can do it. You've got to get down to a rating scale.